Hello everyone, welcome to From the Star Wars Home Video Library. I'm your host Nathan P. Butler. We're picking up here where a recent episode essentially left off, to some extent, and going back to the UK for more of the 1980s Star Wars cartoons. So thankfully Droids this time, not the Ewoks. We suck on the forest moon and everywhere else. That whole thing. What we've got here is another of those mail-aways. So you may recall that back in episode number 79 of this series from the Star Wars Home Video Library, we looked at the UK 6-volume set of Ewoks. It was Season 1, Season 2, but one episode missing from each because of the way they had to put it on VHS. And then we looked at something I got in the same eBay auction at the time, which was my only, to that point, UK VHS release of Droids. Droids, in the UK, got a full release, with the exception of the episode Kobe and the Star Hunters, again, because of what you could fit on VHS at the time. You basically had the 3 arcs as Volume 1, Volume 2, Volume 3, and then the TV special The Great Heap, released by itself. That's what we looked at back in episode number 80 of the show here. Great Heap, regular release, clamshell case. We took a look at this in some detail. Having done that, in episode number 81, we circled back to Ewoks, still looking at UK releases, and checked out one that had a lot of diarrhea jokes in it, frankly, which is this. Ewoks Night of the Strangers, when it should be just Stranger, which was a mail-away VHS tape that you could get through the dairy product company, cheese spread company, Dairylea. I mentioned at the time that there was another of these single-episode Star Wars cartoon mail-aways from the cheese spread company that was also out there for Droids, but that I hadn't acquired it yet. That has changed thanks to, I believe it's Darkrai New Moon, is how you say your name? Another YouTube user who happened to see the episode and say, hey, I spotted this on, of all places, eBay UK. You might want to check it out, which allowed me to finally get my hands on that one. That product is this. This is Star Wars Droids, Tale of the Roon Comets. You can barely see the title there. You got to get up close, just because of how washed out it is compared to the rest of the white background. With the compliments of Dairylea. Again, I made all kinds of diarrhea jokes. I'll try not to this time. CBS Fox, who had the rights for the distribution there. This was 1988, 2 years before the US got any kind of home video releases of Droids at all. We went into that extensively back in that Great Heap episode there. Again, episode number 80. We have our rating here of U, meaning it's for basically everyone, unrestricted. Side. CBS Fox. Image from the cover. Droids logo. Rating. VHS. Effectively the same on the other side. Top is just plain red here. Back cover we'll get to momentarily. The tape, very much like the Ewoks one. Those bigger reels, because there was less tape needed. Got your logo there, Tale of the Roon Comets. Got your rating with the compliments of Dairylea. And nothing there on the front edge. Now, putting this in context before we look at the back here, this is the first episode of the last arc of the series, the third of the 3 arcs, right? Which is the one that focuses on Mungo Baobab as the droid's new master. Which, interestingly, does make this the next episode chronologically after The Great Heap, which aired after the series had ended, but which chronologically introduces Mungo Baobab to the droids and to the audience. Again, personally, I would have thought that this would have made sense to maybe make this episode Kobe and the Star Hunters the one out of all of Droids that wasn't released on home video in the UK because of the restrictions on how much they could fit onto a VHS tape, but no. They went with an easier choice. They went with an episode at the beginning of an arc rather than that odd epilogue Kobe and the Star Hunters, no matter how cool that would have been. The back is pretty much what we got with the Ewoks one. Now, save up to £2 on a selection of 90 minutes. Ewoks and Droids videotapes with Dairylea. Special Dairylea price, $7.99. In pounds, of course. Includes post and dispatch. Kind of hard to see there because of the sunlight, excuse me. Then you've got your breakdown of the different volumes out there that are available. You've got your crew information and whatnot. And then essentially the same thing. I'm not going to read it this time because we read it last time. But it's that same spiel here that basically says, look, we hope you enjoy this episode. if you're interested in it, you can do this mail-away thing and get a discount on being able to buy any of the regular volumes that are out there. Although at this point, The Great Heat wasn't a volume number because it came after the series. We mentioned that in that episode. It is, however, listed on here. So you basically have the options of Ewoks 1, Ewoks 2, Ewoks 3, Ewoks 4, Droids 1, or The Great Heat. Not the other 2 volumes of Droids yet, or the other 2 volumes of Ewoks available through this promotion. So, very similar, but basically if you ate a lot of that cheese spread, or perhaps those packages that had the little Star Wars characters from the cartoons on the little wedges of cheese, then you could send off and get this. Or the Ewoks equivalent that we've already looked at as a mail-away. Again, it's kind of an odd thing thinking, really? What are the people in the UK thinking that you could mail away for a Star Wars cartoon episode from cheese? Remember, in the United States, we had a behind-the-scenes special with redone narration that was available only through cereal boxes, right? Cereal boxes where you got the information, and you mailed away for it. So, who are we to talk about cheese leading to it? One could argue that this is perhaps a little more thematic because these episodes were often very, wait for it, cheesy. I know, sorry, had to do it. So at this point, I'm still hoping to someday get my hands on the 3 regular volumes of Droids from the UK, but for now, that'll wrap up this episode. Thank you all for watching, and may the Force be with the home video viewers.